What's going on, everyone, and welcome to Movie Emporium's TV review of Snowpiercer Season 2, Episode 3, A Great Odyssey. Now, before we begin, hey, if you like my channel, of course, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium, hit that notification bell, top the what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome, hit that like button, as well as commenting below any video you watch, including this one. So, this episode is very fascinating in the essence of there's a lot of fluff going on this with Alex, which is Melanie's daughter, and Melanie kind of grouping back together as a daughter-mother's combo situation. And we're starting to see the kind of rock hardness of Alex's soul and her spirit starting to break a little bit, because I think what happens is what Wilford has done to Alex over the last 7 to 8 years that she's been on Big Alice has caused her to really kind of start questioning Wilford's motives and stuff like that after she realizes that her mother didn't do what she did on purpose. She didn't leave Alex behind, but because of what has happened in the last couple episodes, a lot of issues and a lot of mind games that Wilford has played on Alex, which causes her to be really upset with her mother. I mean, rightfully so. If you think about your mother has left you, and I'm sure Wilford has played on that fear and sadness and loneliness by making her a train engineer, you kind of see the justification about how she's acting. And I was starting to get a little worried that she was going to basically be a very cold-hearted person throughout the entire series, that she was going to do things that were very not on the level. But as we're starting to see as the series plays along, and especially this episode, which has a lot of big moments that are going to affect the rest of the season, we realize that her mother is still her mother, and she still needs her mother. And we see it with her exterior starting to break. She cries a couple times. She takes she takes Melanie to her like bed bunk area, and kind of shows that even though Alex has this exterior, there's a love for her mother that she still has. And her, Melanie really kind of shows that she really truly cares and really truly feels sorry for what happened. And she, touches the side of the window in the train, and she's like, this is how you feel the train, which is, very kind of prescient when you think about it, because when you touch the heart of someone, you can feel the heart beating, and just touching the train's tracks, you can feel like the heartbeat of the train. And it's really kind of a powerful moment. But what it's leading into is Melanie's having to exit the train to go to the station that was talked about in the first or last episode, to kind of figure out her thoughts and ideas about what exactly is going on with the Earth. Is it really rising in temperature? Is it really going to be sustainable after so many years? What is going to happen? And it makes a lot of sense why they had the whole daughter-mother moments and all that stuff, because they have to say their goodbyes. Jennifer Connelly's going to come back in the series, so it's really kind of a little not as exciting. It's a little anticlimactic, I guess you could say, which is not necessarily a bad thing when it comes into a series like this, because there's another character that has popped up in the series that I thought was dead. She should have been dead after what happened to her, but the series, as it's shown, is apparently going to bring characters back. But Melanie's going to do a mission, against the ideas of illogical nature of who Wilford is. And she's trying to improve upon her character, which was a very cold-hearted person in the first season, which is kind of funny. Jennifer Connelly's character was so cold-hearted and so evil and manipulative that you almost don't want to feel sorry for her in the second season. But her character arc has kind of switched so dramatically that you have gone with it. As long as you've been following the series so far, you just kind of accepted the fact that she's become a good character, that she's become a very hearted, very nice, not the most, hero character, but she is, somebody that you can value in a lot of respects. And it took, the taily section of overrunning the train and stuff like that. But they have their moments, and of course, Melanie leaves the train to go do what she needs to do. But a lot of this episode is dealing with how are they going to make the turn around the bend, which we've seen before. When you have 1,100 cars or whatever on a train track system, going around a bend at 50 miles an hour could be devastating if you don't plan it properly. I mean, 1,000 train cars is a lot of train cars, but if you think about it, you're going in a bank of like, maybe 70, actually it's not, maybe 90, 70 degrees or whatever. It's like, if you're going straight here, they're having to turn and make a bank like this. It's almost like a 180 bank style. And it's a really crazy thing that they have to do, because Wilford is testing Alex to see if her reserve is really intact. He knows she's kind of breaking, and he puts all the faith of them not derailing into Alex's arm or Alex's, process. And at the last minute, Alex hits the boosters, which is what needed to happen. They needed to shut off some train cars to get around that bend. And they basically, she hits the boosters and they are able to cascade around it and be fine, which is what needs to happen because the boosters also need to get them up the mountain so Melanie can do what she needs to do, or the series would have been over and everyone would have been dead. I mean, that's in essence what the whole entire episode is even about. It's about Melanie getting off the train to progress the story. It's about them getting around the bend. It's about Alex and Melanie having their kind of goodbyes for the moment, having her realize that Melanie really is there for her, whether she wants to believe it or not. There's other small things in this episode that really kind of, the series is very fantastical in its nature. It deals with a lot of social political issues, especially in today's social political issues. But the things that this show does pretty poorly is sometimes it goes into weird tangents and weird moments that they try to make you feel for a certain individual or certain character. And that's what happens with Andre Layton in this episode, where he has his moments where he is basically trading and talking with Wilford. Wilford has his moments where he's just sitting in a chair, which is kind of cool. I like Sean Bean in this. Sean Bean in anything just makes the series so much better because he's just so wickedly evil. And there's a moment where at the end of the last episode, I couldn't remember who it was. I didn't even talk about it really in the episode review, but the person in the bed that's wrapped up in bandages is Josie. Now, as we learned from Josie, Josie died at Melanie's hands because she was, cuffed in the room, and she like loses her hand, all that stuff, and then Melanie escapes, but Josie ends up freezing to death. Now, as we see her in the second season, apparently she's alive and she is very messed up looking from the freezer, from the cold burns and stuff like that. I like that Layton, the whole child thing with him and the child and Zara's character is fine, but I'm starting to worry that the David Diggs character of Andrew Layton is starting to kind of run out of steam because you throw Josie back into the mix. And I'm not necessarily hating on the idea, but it doesn't feel like an idea. It almost feels like you're almost jumping the shark a little bit, and it's really kind of bothersome. And it's really gonna be interesting to see about how they use like the skin grafting techniques that the Big Alice trained technicians, like doctors, have been using. What they used on Melanie, and maybe they're gonna use it on Josie, and she comes back in the series. I don't know. It's really, really strange and really. I don't know what to think about Josie being back in the series. She was dead. She sacrificed her life. It was a big moment. It was actually a powerful moment. I don't know why she needs to come back. I really don't. I don't know what the whole point of it's a really awkward moment. And then you have the superhero bad guy moment where they take Icy Bob and they put him into a chamber, which basically they take it down to the temperatures outside the train, or at least to a portion, because Icy Bob can handle the temperatures, and they're trying to get him so if they need some kind of rescue or something like that, or something like, anyways, he could throw people out the train and he'd be just be fine. But they're doing like a Superman, or they're just doing like a superhero thing where, Wilford comes in, he's like, I need to make it colder, I need to do it quicker. And it's like, oh, here we go, super villain moment of the episode. And like I said, if it weren't for Sean Bean being in the episode, being just slimy and disgustingly evil and just amazing, I would be kind of a little bothered by what is going on. But I've seen from these last 3 episodes, Sean Bean is just, he's doing Sean Bean. He's doing it deliciously awesome, and it's just an amazing character. And he's doing a really nice job. This is, his arrogance and his evilness, and the fact that he's like a certain somebody that we know in the current state of America, and kind of a couple other things kind of finish out the review. Pike talks to Terrence, and Pike is one of those people that's very slimy. He's going to get a lot of information to people. He's going to be the guy that trades information for weed or drugs or whatever. And I like Stephen Ogg. I think he's fun in the role. He's not really given much to do in the first 3 episodes, but it's nice that they didn't kill off his character. And it was nice to see somebody like Bess confront the people in the weight room it's like a really weird scene. And they're the type of individuals that are very committed to Wilford, so they're not even gonna help out. And because they're muscle bound individuals, they have a certain aura about them. And Bess is trying to investigate who did the cutting of the fingers of that woman. And Bess has the most interesting possibly of character dynamics, but until they actually start really doing something with her, she's just kind of on a small quest to figure out who cut off this woman's hands or fingers. And then Ruth, who has been kind of stodgy and kind of not a very good person in a lot of aspects. She's very kind of stoic and very committed to a certain ideology. She, because she hated Melanie so much, it's nice to see her kind of, after Melanie's going to do what she needs to do and Ruth's realizing what is happening, it's just nice to see her kind of icy exterior kind of break down a little bit. And she like sheds tears, and she's starting to slowly kind of form into a different character than what she was at the very beginning of the series. And I like that. I think that's a good character arc and character motivation. And it's nice to see. It's nice to see these characters who aren't the most well-rounded, most well-plotted characters get some fun moments like Ruth or Knox or any of these characters. And the series kind of chugs along and it has its issues. There's points in this where it just kind of drags a lot of points. And like I said, the bend of the cars is exciting, but once again, we've seen it kind of before in the first season. So I'm not going to fault it too much because they kind of rehash a lot of stuff. But with that said, with Melanie leaving, and she's one of the best characters on the show, it's going to be interesting to see how Daveed Diggs, how Sean Bean can keep the weight on their shoulders. I think Sean Bean will do just fine. But Daveed Diggs' character, the reason his character of Andre Layton works is because he has all this cast of characters to prop him up. And Melanie was one of the biggest characters to keep him propped up and keep him important. But once Melanie is gone, as she is after this episode for however long, it's going to be interesting to see if Daveed Diggs can handle it on his own, because he's a great actor. But the way things are changing, the way the chess pieces are moving, it's going to be really fascinating to see if the series can not hopefully crumble in a second season, because I'm starting to see a little bit of the cracks of what second season or sophomore seasons of a show can do. And hopefully they can find a path to get themselves through this season to make it really kind of fun and unique. Like I said, last season, it took about 3 or 4 episodes for the season to finally find its groove, or the series. And it's still continuing that groove, but it's showing a little bit of tilt. And I hope it keeps it straight on track through the end of the season. So we'll find out. I can't wait to see what happens on episode 4. And we'll see what happens when Melanie comes back. We'll see what happens with Alex. And we'll see how the series starts to form a new kind of different shift in the series itself, which is always nice to see. I do like when they kind of do that. So overall, I'm going to give the episode a 7.5 out of 10. Like I said, it's not as good as the other 2 episodes, but it has its moments, so we at least give it a 7.5 out of 10. So, but that'll do it. That'll be my take on Snowpiercer Season 2, Episode 3, A Great Odyssey. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of the episode. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What are your theories of this current episode and where you think it's going to go? Do you think it's shifting into a new direction? Do you think it's going to stay the same through the entire series? Let me know. But otherwise, thank you so much. If you like what you see on this channel, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at the top to find what's coming next. As always, if you like this video, awesome. Hit that like button, and we'll see you on the next episode of Snowpiercer. Peace out.